All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Of course, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us, and we'd like to thank everyone at ELO for arranging this. And the FAs, which are partly made of my colleagues at Stetson University, Teresa Carmody, Din-Kei Chen, Terry Whittick, and I, Matt Roberts, welcome all of you to Breathe the Machine. And today what we're going to do, we're going to start off with a brief introduction to our project, and then we're going to ask everyone to participate in an interactive collective blow-in, and that'll happen kind of midway through our presentation. So, and that event will also be live streamed on YouTube, and I'll go over all the technical things, how we're going to do that. So before we get started, we need to download an app, which I am sending a link in the chat to our website where you can download the app. And we'd like for everyone to start to download that now, so we have time for it to download, and then we'll revisit the app later on in the presentation. So I'm going to share my screen in a sec. If you go to that link, this will take you to our project website. And on the project website, you'll see we have a video in length explaining our project. We have text in the story that you can also see, the full PDF of the story located here. Today what we're going to be looking at is what we need to start downloading is the app. So we have an app for both Mac and Windows. And I just ask that you go ahead and download that now. And like I said, we'll come back and revisit it. But let's go ahead and start to download that so we can participate in our live stream event. So I'll give you a second to download that for either Mac or Windows. All right, so now we've started to download that. I want to ask Terry and Teresa to start us off and talk about the project.
Well, as you know, Florida is a real Rule 2 state if you're weather, if you're debris from a cruise ship, or if you're any species classified as non-native and therefore invasive. In such a porous limestone state, with all its wavering between things like Disney World and social distancing, it's hard work not just to board up our body's 9 windows and try to sanitize our way out of contaminant touch. In staying with the trouble, though, theorist Donna Haraway suggests we be drawn into plus, plus, plus rather than minus. She proposes a triplicate tangle of people, critters, and apparatuses. And that's what's brought us here, a prose writer, a new media artist, a 3D animator, and a poet. Exactly here at ELO with our breathing, which is now, by the way, headed inland. Our rib cages move up, our diaphragms relax. We hardly notice we're that much virus larger.
Breathe the Machine began a million years ago, back when face-to-face was taken for granted, in a time when 2 writers and 2 artists could meet bi-weekly in order to share our work. One night, each person brought a prompt. An hour later, we were blowing on a computer, making a world. We were doing this in Florida, a landmass that has spent more geologic time underwater than not, moving above and below sea level at least 4 times before emerging in our current language as a peninsula, a territory, a colony, a U.S. American state, a COVID-19 hotspot record breaker, a joke on the internet. In Florida, we feel the slow apocalypse of our current climate crisis as an everyday phenomenon. Our nervous systems activate seasonally as we stock for, hunker down, evacuate from yet another hurricane. Soon, these storms will become what has only been hypothetical, categories 6 or 7. All of us are prophets. We see the writing on the wall.
The breathing rate of an adult human is 15 to 18 times per minute. The number increases up to 25, say if we're running, or if we're staying in place and afraid, though that case we might also try to hold our breath. But it's too hard. Shedding into our screened reflections then, as we are now, we inevitably open our exhales to cross-species touch. And watch them. There's huge trouble in the shares between people, critters, and apparatuses. There's only so many ventilators. There's only so many 15 to 25s until we're breathless for good. But hey, it's our world's expiration date just over there. Things have gone quite combinatory without us already. So let's stay with the trouble and the story we're already so far into. Let's think together how to breathe the machine.
To return to the four bodies who met and made this space, we began playing, singing fuzz, and talking about the term invasive species, a term written by that most invasive species, humans, who are, in this case, using global capitalist English. Is that another invasion? Are humans the only species that hate themselves? Stop, take a breath. This is not a one-to-one computation. In Breathe the Machine, every body, every machine contributes small actions which feed a larger story emerging on a shared cultural screen. There's a fiction, a narrative we're necessarily caught in, more than one really, stories of identity, interrelation, connected or disconnectedness, worthiness or disaster, narratives which are as fixed as a short story you can download on the Breathe the Machine site, or as unfixed as their flickered, reordered, accented versions soon to emerge on your personal screen, with the option, because there's always other options, to network into another place, another screen, just to the side of what's known. So we're going to turn it back to Matt a minute.
So yeah, thanks so much. Such a pleasure to hear your text and work with you all. So what we're going to do next is look at the app, how to open the app, and then how to enter the FOZ world and interact with our live stream using the app. So just a second here. I'm typing in the chat. I'm giving an IP address in the live stream, which we're going to need in a second. And I'm going to share my screen here. And to open the app, so to open the app, the first time you open on the Mac or Windows are very similar. It's a long process to put the app through an app store and very cumbersome process. So if you've never opened the app before, it's going to ask you to trust it. So I'm going to unzip it. And then there's an app called BTM. If you're on a Mac, you'll need to right-click it or control-click it and tell it to open. And then you're going to get a message asking you to trust it. Go ahead and trust it. There's the app is totally safe. We just didn't put it through the App Store. So I'm going to right-click or control-click. In a Windows, you just double-click, and there's another a window asking you to trust it. And that takes just a second. So it'll ask you to trust it and just say yes or open. All right. So I'm hoping everyone was able to get that open. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of go over the app just to show you how it works. So This is the main tab. There's 3 tabs here. So on the left is the main tab, and so we're going to interact with the app. You'll be able to, you'll need a microphone and sound. If you don't have a microphone, you will need to have your speakers on or headphones on. And you will see and hear images in this window. And this window can be moved around and resized if you like. And you'll be able to turn your mic on and off here, which I'll come back to in a second. This, when we go into our stream world, you'll be able to pick an object that you would like to be in our Oz streamed world. There's the About section, which just tells you about the project. And importantly, what we need to do today is go into the settings. So I'm in the Settings tab here. And in the chat, I've given you an IP address. This is the address which will communicate with our streamed world. So again, I'm in a Settings tab. And what I need to do is type in that IP address in this text box that says number 2. And that address you can get from the chat, or you can copy it from right here. It's 97.101.133.59. And once you've entered it, just press return on your keyboard, and these 2 and 3 should match, and then you're set. I'll give everyone a second to do that.
There's some questions in the chat too.
Yeah, I can't see the chat right now, but I'll come back and address those in a second. Or maybe Denke or someone else can.
Well, part of it is it seems like it's really, the app is being really slow to download.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so people are saying they're having that a lot of people are having a problem getting the download all the way. So it's starting to. Hey, Brian, nice to see you here. Hey, Amaranth. So Amaranth was slow at, was fast, but slower on a different computer.
Yeah, because I started mine at the same time.
Shout out to Amaranth, who, sorry, I'm totally interrupting, but who hosted this project at the and now in a very different variation. So
yeah, this was a physical installation that we're now trying to make virtual.
Okay, and it looks like people, it's saying, since Matt, you can't see it, it's was slow, but now people are starting to download, and so.
Okay, so I'll give everyone a second to catch up.
And so it looks like people are going ready.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the chat yet, Matt.
I don't, my screen share, I don't see the chat. Let me see.
It looks like people are catching on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So for those who just got it downloaded and it's open, if I went to the settings here, I just typed in the IP address and number 2, and you gotta press enter on the keyboard, and then once 2 and 3 match, you should be set. So I'll just give that a second, and you guys let me know when I can move on.
Somebody Christine's saying it's 40 to 50 minutes left for the download.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody else is still at only 50% for the download.
Huh. Well,
we can keep periodically posting the IP into the settings.
yeah, we'll do that.
And Christine's saying to go ahead.
Yeah.
Somebody else is ready. People are saying ready.
Okay. So once we've done that, this will allow us to communicate with our server and stream to the live world. So
sorry, Matt, I'm going to interrupt one more time. Yeah. Just a reminder, it's going to not want to open if you double click it. So you have to right click and hit open. that way on the Mac, and then it will say, this is untrusted because we didn't go through the Apple place, and so then they'll say, do you want to trust it? And say yes, or open anyway. And it won't hurt your computer, and you can,
Yeah. Nothing malicious will happen, we promise. So, yeah, thank you so much. So, I'm going to go back to the main screen, and we ask that everyone breathe onto their computer to activate this. So, I'll show you an example, although you may want to turn this off, because once it starts making noise, it may be hard to hear the rest of the presentation, but you can turn the sound on and off in your microphone by clicking here. One more note, if you are having trouble with your sound and it's not working, go into the settings and click open here, and you can pick your input and output device. So to make sure you have your mic and your speaker. So that's under settings there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to turn on my microphone and blow. And that's how you activate the project. And so now I'm going to let Dente talk about the live stream portion of the project.
Thank you, Matt. Let me share my screen. In the big world that can be watched on the live stream, which is on the left side of my screen, everything is hidden at the beginning until you breathe to your machine. You can choose the object you would like to be. For example, I pick up camel, and then blow to your computer like what I just did. And in about 2 seconds, you should see the camel will come out. Oh, sorry, I haven't checked on the sound, so let me do it again. Blow to your microphone, and in about 2 seconds, you'll see the object will appear in the world. Okay. So once you blow, and you'll be able to modify the world, and as you blow more, you'll see the flower blooming, and the animals will running around, and the butterfly will fly around, etc. So, fast friend, let's breathe your machine. And I'll pass to Teresa.
Yeah. Make sure you, yeah.
Teresa, you're on mute?
Yeah.
Oh, Denke, can you leave your screen share on?
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, so that we can just continue to see that world. So we're going to just give people time to play with the app, and a couple other things on your list for during the next few minutes. Embrace uncertainty, as we all have been learning so well to do. Prepare to morph. Say hello to the FAs. Welcome to the FAs. Become a FA. Ask questions in the chat or on YouTube. So you can also ask in the live stream if you have that open. We're leaving Denke's on the screen share so we can kind of see how the world, our shared world here, is shifting. Enjoy this world and breathe. And then closer to the end of the time, so maybe in around 8 minutes or so, we'll be inviting everybody to actually unmute themselves and take off their headphones. And we'll do, as an experiment, we'll all blow on our computers at the same time and see what happens in terms of the sound reverberating from machine to machine.
weeks.
FAH, this was sometimes difficult as non-FAH didn't actually believe FAH could exist. FAH sometimes morphed into non-FAH and replaced it.
It was truly exist potential for weeks as ganz neves passieren because we do as the schriftlich immer nur zur responsible wann die Luft zu beziehen. This was sometimes difficult as non-FAH didn't actually believe FAH could exist. Which sometimes declaração gestora extraordinária. Bobby Sponge declaração de taxa de promotoria de declaração gestora extraordinária.
Forman feliz frecuente oráculos que montan tesoros interactivos vectores y las notaciones científicas.
The relationship between form and feelings between the duration of the morph and the tenor of circulating stars was
Die Vogeldatei energy in the team this is good enough. Te fast even niet op in korte moment zwarte moment was een fixate fast nee die Vogeldatei. No, the more
Chaque plastique botte le most passers ben tout de strange smell of turmeric was in the air one USA qui can then include the wedding and the
Someone fast preferred the word delusional when referring to FAH. Someone fast preferred the word delusional when referring to FAH. Someone fast preferred the word Two was in the air, one non-FAA kicked them into the water, another brought some FAH home the picker. Upper didn't notice when the FAH later morphed if the picker upper had noticed they would expect fast. Was not a one-to-one computation. The FAH could exist for days or weeks as Paris next Brazilian peppers, wild boars, Cuban tree plots, and winter turtles.
So I think we're getting to the point where we're going to invite everybody to unmute themselves and see what happens when we all, when our sound is reverberating. So feel free to unmute yourself. It might be total cacophony, but you know, here we are.
Without our headphones?
Without our headphones on, yeah.
2, 1, 2, look out.
Without our headphones on, yeah.
2, 1, 2, look out.
The unmuted participants to thank the presenters and their soundscape with some breathing.
Nu alle sammen er unmuted.
La 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 la.
Their body, they realized had already.
La 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 la.
noches por extraordinario.
Thank you, everybody, for such a wonderful session and participation. The next session will be coming up immediately, Quarantine Quatrains, and this video will be posted as soon as it is ready.
That's okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That was fun.
Oh, glad
Thanks.
you enjoyed it.
Nice to see you, Brian. So, it's been forever.
All right.
Yes, the video will be posted later. I'm going to end the meeting here.
Okay.
And please check out the next element on the programming, Quarantine Quatrains, which goes from 4:30 to 5:30. So if you could move over to that, that would be great. And continue discussions about this in the Discord.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
And take care.